Hello everyone, this is Kubo and this is my laundry talk. Hello. So today I'm gonna talk about knowledge. I stopped liking studying around high school. Maybe subject itself became so much more difficult. Maybe some other aspect some other aspects came in my head and I wanted to present in a different way. But to talk about this, I think I gotta go back to way back then, which is when I was really little, like even before elementary school. I was only child, and also I was I was actually the oldest kid in the family in both sides, from my dad's side and my mom's side. And especially my mom's side lives close to our house, so we had much more interaction with them. And if I'm not wrong, I was only child and only grandchildren or child until when I'm probably 4th grade in elementary school. And until then, I was obviously getting a lot of attention from my family, and I really liked it. And one of the way to get praise was knowledge, that knowing their language, like their generation's term, knowing more things, and like, oh wow, you know those things too, like you're such a child but you know, that's cool. And then that stuff made me feel so good. That's where I started liking learning more things and present. And that continues to my junior high, to 7th grade to 9th grade, and I was studying a lot and not extended to my friends. Like, I tend to present myself very knowledgeable and like I know a lot of things and leave it to me kind of thing. And I really like to take responsibility to any occasion, and I was willing to show off, like, I know this, I know that. I was very outspoken about it, and that's kind of not always true, but it's kind of unique quirk to have, because Japanese culture is pretty much like how little you show off and how good you actually are, kind of thing. Like, we have saying that people who's the strongest tend to hide their ability until when the moment happens. And I kind of nowadays I really like the idea of it, so I tend not to, even though I know something, I tend to not hide, but just try not to show off too much and let others have it. I don't know if this is necessarily a trait to have or not, but just it is what it is, right? And after junior high, I think I've been through a fair amount of things, and I had a little bit of like identity crisis and stuff around that time. I mean, teenagers, so obviously that's the time when you go through that, right? And I went to high school, and I just not like I decided, but I shifted myself towards a little bit more like cooler side. And cooler side meaning that like when I was about to be a high school student, I thought not following rules, living in the moment, being fun. I thought that was the cool things to do, and I really wanted to present myself in that way. And going to high school is kind of good opportunity. It is a great opportunity because from my junior high, from my elementary school to my junior high, pretty much everyone goes to same junior high. I remember it wouldn't be so different, almost the same. So everyone knows you. So if there is anything built up as a character or the personality, or he's that and she's that. Like if that's decided, like I don't know, this is common idea in other countries, but in Japan we even call it high school debut, that you can almost kind of change your personality. And when I faced that moment, I decided to be okay. I was more like serious side of student. Like I take everything very seriously. I learn a lot. I study a lot, and I present like very serious student. Like I was school principal, and I was like one of the most smart kid in the grade. And when I got into high school, I decided to I will change. I would like to present myself more fun, and teenagers fun is more like outlaw, little bit bad, and that's something I was really aiming for. And when you are taking exams or anything, like oh no, I didn't study anything, and I actually didn't study anything, and I was like, oh, I'm just one of the most stupid kid in this grade, blah blah blah. And I thought that was so cool, so I decided to go along with those cool side of me. It was really fun, don't get me wrong. I had really fun time in my high school, but at the same time I lost a lot of opportunities to learn basic stuff. And about the amount of knowledge I gained in high school is probably heavily on communication skills, not a lot of like knowledge that you can gain from a book. And now when I'm 25, about to be 26 years old, I definitely feel regret, not necessarily, but I have a craving to learn more. And I sometimes wonder what was it like if I kept studying, because you could always do both, being smart and being fun. I wasn't quite knowledgeable, no, but I wasn't, my thoughts weren't there, so I just threw off all the learning side and just kept having fun. I mean, I went to university, and that continued. Even though the university itself was not a bad university, like I decided to be fun. But Tokyo fun. So my university is located to Tokyo, and Tokyo fun is different from those like countryside fun. And honestly, I was exhausted. I couldn't catch up the fun. that's another story, but yeah, that happens too, and fun is difficult sometimes. And now I wish I had much more knowledge about things, and at the same time, every time I learn something new, especially being in other country, like you learn new things, like you see how ignorant you are. I think those are not something you learn from school, but as I mean in foreign country, I'm like, oh wow, this is so cool, look, this is so cool, and my definition of cool is definitely changing. But to be fair, there is a beauty of not knowing, which I don't know what's the. My first thing is that definitely you can avoid a lot of responsibilities. Like you want, if some people try to, ask someone to do their tasks, if they think you're not knowledgeable, they wouldn't ask you to do it. So you can avoid responsibility. It's not necessarily a good thing, especially in the business world or like recruitment wise, but that's that. Like everyday life, if you present that way, I felt that way. Whenever I present a little bit more stupid, I don't want to keep saying that I present myself that way to manipulate other people. Not really, but I ended up avoiding a lot of responsibility, especially like being in other countries. Like I don't speak English. I now speak English fairly well, but if you don't, people tend not to ask me things, and I mean it's easier, but at the same time at certain level you feel like you feel a little bit not disregarded. That gives other people too much power. I would say being appreciated is something you feel okay being in that moment, and without having that, it could be hard to exist. I am not like sad or anything. It's just a fact, and that's what I have felt. And also, other aspect of like the beauty of not knowing stuff is that you can wander around. I really like talking about, do you know blah blah blah, and those topics are something you actually don't know, and then in that conversation, like instead of I don't know, instead of saying I don't know, we can always try to sort it out, like why do people act in certain way, and like we can always discuss about it, right? And if you know everything, like you can teach, or like you can talk like, oh, it's because blah blah blah, and it's because x x y y y z z z. You can do that way, but also I really like to discuss about it. And there's a beauty of like not knowing, like you can always use imaginations, and like, oh, maybe it's because that, and I mean nowadays we have Google, so we can kind of find out immediately, but not knowing and then discuss about it is something I definitely have fun with. And I just find it cool to like how much imagination you can use to find out things. And when you, at the end of the day, like if it's before Google, that's where it ends. But now, okay, you use all the imagination, and we imagine this way, that way, maybe option 3, option 4. So what's the answer for that, and then we find out like, oh my god, this is not, none of them are correct, and this is the answer. Wow. And that aha moment is something I definitely cherish. So in a sense, I definitely had fun, but the level of this conversation will be raised so much if you know more, and the topic itself I do believe the topics itself or topics themselves will get much more complicated, and I'm sure the conversation will be much more intense and fun. So at the end of the day, I guess not knowing can create those fun, but not knowing based off of knowing a lot can increase the fun of it. That's true. Okay, so then let's learn more. I would like to go back to school eventually, and this time I will definitely change my attitude. Maybe no high school debut, but I could do master degrees debut, and then I think presenting in certain way to other people is getting old idea for me. I think that's the character or personality is something I will be ending up with. It's not something I can create. There you go. That's something I've learned after university or like coming to Canada. What I present is, well, I can present in a certain way, but at the end of the day, how they will think about me is not up to me, right? So I wouldn't spend too much energy towards like, okay, I should act this way to be considered as in a certain way. And yeah, I mean, I do have bad habit to still think that way, like, oh, let's just behave this way so that everyone else or everyone around me would think this way, would feel this way, and it's just my habit. So I gotta, at some point I have to reconsider and change my habit, because there's definitely a way to change your almost like unconscious pattern of thoughts. It's not easy because you have to work on it like almost every single moment. It's not always fun, but it's possible. You can change anytime. So yeah, I'm very excited about, hopefully I will get back to school soon, and to do that I need to save some money for sure. Yeah, I'm very hopeful of my new life coming up, and also like filming this, and obviously before filming each laundry talk, I have to think about, okay, what kind of topic I should talk, and try to find topic is also very stimulating to my brain, because if you live without paying a lot of attention to those things, like anything in general, you take those things for granted. But like, since I started filming this, I tend to pay attention and like, oh yeah, I've never really paid attention to those things, but now I can actually make a topic out of it, because that's something I had been passionate but forgotten kind of thing. Anyhow, thank you so much. This is everything. I'm just gonna clean these up. So